All right. Good morning to any replayers. If you're a replayer, you can still participate. You can tap on the screen for hearts. Hi, Praying Mama 2. You can, hi, Donnie3333. Share this broadcast. You can, of course, find me on Twitter or Snapchat. Hi, Mrs. Reed 1205. And so you can ask me any questions about this broadcast. Hi, Miss TO1. And, of course, any questions you may have. So, flipping. Good morning to everybody that's able to join live. How are you this morning? And if you're new to me, or if you just need an introduction, my name is Joannazarach, and I do a daily money habits broadcast. Hi, Vinny Lakita. And I do a daily money broadcast 7 days a week at 10 a.m. Central. And it's really a commitment to remind you that taking care of your finances, is a habit that you need to develop. And so on Mondays, every single Monday, I talk about the same topic. I talk about Mint. Why do I talk about Mint? It's Mint.com. It's a web-based app or an app that basically is an aggregator of all your financial information. And what's really great about Mint is that once you set up all your accounts and then once you connect them all, when you do online banking already, you already have accounts, then you have one-stop shop to where you can really address your financial situation. Yeah, Mint.com, that's right. Mint.com, look it up. It's a free app. It's owned by Intuit. It also does TurboTax, QuickBooks, Quicken, and a lot of other financial software. So when they bought Mint several years ago, they've really become the, I don't know what the stats are, but the number one app, that I know any personal finance blogger or anybody uses it. There's a couple other competitors that have come on the scene, like Personal Capital, that are probably better for investing. But Mint, hands down, just because how long it's been around, is actually the best way to get all your finances in one place. And the two things, so, I always say stick with the basics, right? When it comes to money, it's really what you do repeatedly that matters versus the one-time wins, right? One of the things that we're very much enamored with this idea of winning the one time, right? This is why lotteries are popular, gambling's popular, the $1 million idea is popular, right? We are more, we celebrate more the kind of immediate wins than we do the habits or the consistency. So when it comes to money, if you do your research and see what is really consistent, how are you? If you're here to learn about money, you're in the right place. And so consistency is key to accumulation. So one of the things that I teach about is not, again, there's a lot of people that will give you information on how to create more income, and it's definitely part of the equation. If you're open show, I don't even know what that is, but you're distracting. Goodbye. And so the consistency around it. So what I talk about is accumulation of wealth over time versus kind of like winning. So there's a lot of people who are definitely going to talk to you about income, and that's a big part of the equation. So the 5 levers of wealth building, for anybody that's new, and I haven't talked to them in a while, I haven't talked about them in a while, or at least seems like I talk about them all the time. But guys, these are the 5 levers of wealth building. First is income. So you need to solve your income equation, right? And what do I mean? Is really figure out how to increase your income. I know that we're all like the 6-figure income, or 6-figure revenue, a lot of people when they're in business, but you really need to figure out how to make more money. And that doesn't have to be immediate or overnight, but you need to have a trajectory that's positive on increasing your income. So that's number 1. Taxation is number 2. Okay, I know it's like not a sexy topic, but it's very timely, right? We've got 4 days? Actually, 18th, I think, is this year's deadline for some taxes. Anyway, it's tax deadline time. And what happens is that most people see taxes as a chore, something they do once a year. Now, if you do not learn about how taxation takes away from your wealth building and you don't position yourself to grow your wealth in a tax favored manner, then it's going to get really hard. And it doesn't just mean having an amazing tax person, because a tax accountant, a lot of times all they do is just execute on what you already put in place. Knowing how taxation impacts your wealth building is really, really important. So that's, that's one of the things that we talk a lot about is tax deferred plans, tax favored accounts. And if you look at the very wealthy, like one of our income inequality conversations that's going on is people say, the wealthy pay less in taxes. And it's not in absolute terms, it's actually in percentage terms. The laws are written to favor wealth building and not earned income. So if you do not understand that, if you don't understand how taxation works in the US, and again, this is very US centric. I know other countries, I don't know their tax code as well, but I'm gathering that it's similar. Taxation will protect, tax laws protect wealth because wealth is not taxed. Only earned income is. So it's the people who kind of provide the services that pay the majority of the taxes, especially by percentage. So know your tax laws. Take advantage of tax deferred accounts. That's important. And when you do Mint, one of the things why I talk about Mint is important in tracking all the things that will impact your taxes, whether it's business expenses, whether it's your Schedule A deductions. Investments, again, I cannot emphasize enough. And that's why Mint is also great, because this is when we talk about net worth. One of the things about tracking your net worth is that most people are a cash flow mentality, which means they're just looking for a cash. When you have a net worth mentality, which Mint really helps you display, is you're going to look at your investments. And as you go and convert from consumer to investor, you're going to be able to see that your net worth's going up, even if you feel like your lifestyle hasn't improved. This is the big aspect of Mint, is to really look at your net worth and look at your money holistically. Now, if you don't have that, you're going to forget about the money that you're building up in your investment accounts. And you're going to start making choices sometimes around having more cash flow instead of having a higher net worth, right? So the trade-offs of cash flow to net worth can be made really apparent in Mint. Big purchases, again, if you buy a big purchase, and see, I'm talking about a long-term impact, right? Long-term tracking of your finances. So that's why when you set up Mint, you're looking at that expenditure and you're looking at net worth, because the idea is for you to see how your net worth changes over time. If your net worth just stays flat, it means it's a signal to you to change something in your financial equation. Now, if you're not getting that feedback because you're not paying attention, it's going to be really hard to change, because changing your habits is one of the most difficult things right after changing your mindset. So yeah, big purchases would be number 4. Number 5, of course, risks. And you know what? That's one of the things that Mint doesn't really do. It doesn't really capture your risk protection, right? And actually, mental thought, there needs to be an added piece around what risk, how are you protected against the risk? And risk is just downside of unpredictable events. So most of us are familiar with different types of insurances, but most of us don't experience the risk or the downside until it's too late, right? We are, so thinking about how risk is going to impact your livelihood and your lifestyle is important. And it's actually one piece that's missing out of Mint, that kind of risk analysis. So now that I think about it, I think tomorrow, yeah, so finance terminology, so like Mint is, that's why it's the way I can chat with you personally. Yeah, so why don't you find me on Twitter? If you're on Twitter, I think if I need to follow you for you to direct message me, just tweet at me and say I have a scope question, and I'll follow you. So like you can tweet to me directly, or on Snapchat. Actually, very big fan of Snapchat for communication. If you're on Snapchat, if you're not downloaded, and that's just an easy way for us to go back and forth. That's what I started doing with people. Snapchat, and I'm the same username. So either on Twitter, direct message me or tweet at me to say you have a question, or on Snapchat. So when you don't have financial terminology, so Mint is just an aggregator, so it's really a great place to start. Now again, when you first start, you may say, oh, I could just log into my bank account. Right, today you only have a bank account. But tomorrow, what I want you to have is a bank account, a savings account, the credit cards that you're using as tools, and also your investment account. So all of a sudden, you may have 10 things to do. So when you still don't know a lot of the financial terminology, it's at joannazarach. So it's the same exact one as my Periscope username. So if you just swipe right, you should be able to click on my my name, and it'll show you my thing. Yeah, so find me. It's the same snap. Add me. I'll add you back, and just shoot away. And happy to do that. I'm really I love nothing more in life than helping people break down some of those financial concepts so they can take action. Right? It's why I'm on Periscope. It's like my purpose in life is to. I feel like there's too big of a gap in terms of what people need to know and what they know, especially as they progress. So Mint is an aggregator. So Mint can't transact on your accounts. All it does is Mint takes information from all your other accounts that are just bank accounts and are protected, but their security is the same level as bank security. So all Mint does is just collect information from your accounts and puts it in one place. No one can transact out of Mint. Like when I go into Mint and I would like to transfer money from one account, no, I have to go to my banking app and do that. But the level of security for Mint is the same as banking. It's actually been something that I was reading about the last week. They have huge protection for your data, but it's a data aggregation app. It's just like, it just pings all your accounts and brings it all into one place, but you can't transact out of Mint. So it's safe. It's extremely safe when it comes to that. So I know that Mint has Mint bills, which I haven't, you cannot transact out of Mint. You have to set that up in your bank account, but once you set it up, the information will come through. So yeah, all Mint does, it's not a banking app, it's an aggregator, it's a money app, right? It's an aggregator, it's like an information map. It's almost like a big data concept for money. Like that's how I think about it. Is it connects to all your financial transactions, and it puts it in one place. So you can mark them, right? So one of the things that you do is you pick what expense, when you have transactions, when you have money coming out of your credit card, your bank account, like where'd it go? What was it for? In your bank, I don't think they let you do it as easily. Plus Mint, it's all the same, right? Like once you learn the system in Mint, then you can mark all your transactions. But that's really it. Like, so for Mint gives you the big powerful things. Again, simplicity here is one, it always tells you how much money you have overall, not just in your bank account, but what is your entire net worth, right? This concept of net worth. What's your total assets minus liabilities, and what are the different assets in? And then where are your expenses, like where are you spending your money? Because most people aren't very cognizant on where they spend their money. Because when you go to change your habits, you need to see if it's actually enabling you to free up some of your cash to meet your goals, right? Like ultimately, this is about redirecting the money that you get for your efforts, of what you put out into the world, and redirecting it towards more for you, like keeping more of it versus just going, okay, here's the 10 bills I have to pay and here's the habits I pay for. And until you really start looking at it, you won't have as crisp of an idea of what changes you could make or what changes you want to make. Because ultimately, if what you want is to spend all your earnings, that's all right. Like, just know that you're not going to have anything left over, right? So you have to make a decision about which direction you want to take your financial life. Hello from Spain. So it's all about the decision, and I'm just giving you tools. So the decision has to be your own versus like where you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years or 30 years or whatever. It's all longer term. There's very little immediate things that my advice can help you with, right? Because it's not a like here, 3-week program on how to get more money. It's really like, it's a long-term process to get to the point where you're accumulating wealth if you, again, cash flow challenged, which means if you're spending more than you're earning. I'm doing great. Thank you so much. And thank you for guys for joining. So that's why I talk about Mint is really a tool for you to get those that information to empower yourself to make changes, to say, look, here's where I'm at, right? Like, we go through life and it feels very stressful, but when you have a complete picture of where you are today, you ask yourself, how am I going to get to where I really want to be? But you have to have a lot of conversations with yourself about like what's really important to you. And I'm just giving you the tools. And so that's why Mint's just an essential part of the toolkit. And that's something that I do. I use every day to just like know where my money is and where it's going and what's done. And again, some of the things that were more practical that I've talked about is tracking your business expenses or tracking your Schedule A expenditures, things that impact your taxes. And taxes is real money, right? That's the thing. When people get a tax, we stop thinking about, we start compartmentalizing money. And, when you can free up some of your money to get back more of it through tax favored accounts or just being tax savvy, that's real money. And we let go way too much money when it's not real. That's why some people recommend the cash envelope. You're not, you know what, I hear this a lot. And the thing is that, like, here's a couple things. One, you're never too old to get started. And yeah, sometimes you're like, God damn it, if I just started when I was 20. But sometimes we're not ready, right? Sometimes we're not in a position to do it. Sometimes we're not ready. But it's never too late to change habits, right? So one is, you can start today or next week or whatever. You get into the mindset. It's never too late. Here's why. We are going to live a really long time. Like, advances in medicine, don't be scared. Just get started, right? That's the thing. Right? Don't blame your old self, right? Don't blame your old self for the mistakes that you've made. Forgive your old self. Recognize that you're here, and then be kind to your future self. Be like, you know what? I want my future self to be all set. Yeah. And say, I'm going to get started because you're going to live a long time. Think about it. Look at it. You got a 30-year horizon. And sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to work, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, but what if you make money doing something you really enjoy, because maybe you don't have to make so much money in the future because you've been taking care of your future self. So it's only really too late if you're not able to do anything about it. Right. And the thing is that, like, what I'm saying is today is there something you can do about it. And the very tangible thing is to say, look, you need to start looking after your money. The way you can do it that's easy and free is mint.com. Now you have to do the work. You have to get a little uncomfortable, right? Where you go, I don't know the technology, or, it's frustrating me, or I see where my money's going and I'm upset about it. Like sometimes people are like, I don't want to know how much I'm spending at Starbucks or whatever whatever your habitual spending is. And you're like, no, you got to plan for it because you're doing it. Like the denial is not going to be a friend. So the way you really encourage yourself is to say, look, I want myself 30 years from now to be so glad that in this moment, in this time, I took action. So it's never too late, and you're going to live a very long time. And so you've got to start contributing for your future self. So I'm always trying to encourage people, no matter what age they're in, to get started. And there are going to be ups and downs too. You're like, it's great to be consistent, but you can't predict it, right? But you need to feel more in control, and then don't let money happen to you. So Mint is just essential. And then the two things that I'm really trying to get people to use when it comes to Mint is to get a net worth statement. And that's really easy once you set up all your accounts. And we'll go through that again. I've went through it in January. If you ever want to watch some Cash.me material. Work week out of breakfast. Yeah, right. Like it's the little things, right? But that's why the flexing, sometimes we get all our expenses down, and then we need to be like, okay, what can I do for the extra income, right? Because you have a plan now, right? You have a goal, and but it is, right? Like same thing. I was eating out a lot. Even I do that, right? Like I'll challenge myself. Like I was going out and just grabbing, prepared food, and I was like, nah, I can do something that's equally good. Sometimes I say apply the 80-20 rule, right? Like if you like eating out, if you feel hurried, if you feel like, I just really want someone to prepare food, it's okay to do that. But what if you like get water instead of soda, just a water cup? Like little things where you're like, okay, 80-20 rule, like I'll get 80% of the meal, or even it's sit down versus, a sit-down restaurant versus to go, right? One of the things I started doing is we have a favorite pizza place down the street, and when we go to it, it's like $100 easily because you sit, you order you order too much food, you order drinks, you add tip, and it's like mostly I just don't want to cook, and so if you order takeout. Yeah, I know. Yeah, go sign up. Yes, Joyce. Yeah, do it. Hello. Right. You're really important to lay that foundation. And so that's why I keep at it, right? Because I feel like sometimes we need to hear it. And sometimes, you might set up and say, oh crap, this isn't working, or that's not working, or I forgot my passwords. But one of the things that Mint makes you do, just setting it up, makes you think about, what else? Do I have anything else? Do I have any other accounts? Because you'll never forget. And again, it's preparing you for a lifelong money management skill set. And this is a really, really important tool. Guys, it's so funny. No. And so, just little trolls kind of amuse me. Yeah, I'm like, it's like, would you say that to someone if you're just like, it's so funny when they say, if people did in real life what they do on the internet, like imagine like walking someone who's standing in line. What am I? I talk about money. It's really not important what am I. I talk about, I give people money advice on how to manage their money better. So if you're not interested, move along. So, yeah, just encouragement, right? And so, and again, don't worry about me, buddy. Yeah, it's, trolls are coming out. Anyway, yeah, so encouragement, right? Like, because the thing is that we're not hearing enough of that, right? Like, there's no one but you yeah, I know. There is no one but you that will benefit from taking care of your money. By the way, this is the real secret. Like everyone else, all the other actions that we take in the world, like someone else benefits from them. That's why they're easier. Think about how easy it is to spend money. It's the easiest thing to do, and it's getting made easier, right? When you're like, oh, I don't feel like going to the store. You don't have to go to the store. You just have to have a computer to spend money, right? So things that are easiest are to benefit other people. Things that are harder are to benefit you. And so money management is one of those areas that's really, really difficult. And again, no one's making money off of it when you're managing your own money. And so there's not a lot of voices out there that are like, yay, because after a while you're like, I've said this 10,000 times and you're not listening and I'm not making any money off of it. And so managing your own money is really to benefit yourself. But I'm here to give you that encouragement because I think it's so important. And the gap is really, really big, and the gap is getting bigger, guys. And so, I want to bring down the gap. And, I want it by people rising up, by people bringing themselves up from whatever their level is to the next level. And you can't do that if you don't know where you are in terms of your net worth and your expenses, where your money's going. So becoming very conscious about it, becoming conscious about anything is really the way to go, right? Like, and like money, I feel like there's a trifecta of, in our current society, because there's a lot of things that have been solved, like survival, like food availability. 100 years ago, food availability was a huge problem that everybody needed to focus on. Guys, we are past food availability, right? Like, and I know that not everybody has access to it. That's different. But availability of nutrition is solved. It still falls in the health place. But the trifecta in our current society is financial, health, and relationships. Those are the three things that are really, really hard, that no one can do for you, and that you'll benefit from. It's really like, what are the three things you need to focus on? And so for money, I feel like there's not enough accessible resources to get you on the right track. But you got to do the work yourself. The people that are trying to sell you services a lot of times don't have your best interest in mind. You're the only one that's going to be able to do that. And so that's why I'm here to encourage people to do it. So Mint, it's free. Get on it. learn how to use it, link up your accounts. It's super secure. Been on it for, well, I feel like now 7 years. And it's like I log in every morning, as I will, like right after this Periscope. I'm going to log onto my Mint account and just review, like, what transactions hit since yesterday. What do I need to, do I need to change any of them in terms of the categories that they're in? Because it's likely to keep my transactions clean. So if it's uncategorized or if it's the wrong category, I go through, I check, do I need to make any decisions, any movement? And again, I don't make cash, I don't make transactions every day, but you got to make transactions. Like, you've got to move your money around, right? And again, you automate as much as you can, but there's still going to be times where you say, okay, now I'm going to contribute to that IRA, right? Like, some things may not happen automatically, or you may have to stop some automated stuff if you didn't have enough cash flow, right? So again, solving for that. But that's the two things that I really want to emphasize, how important it is to do that, because if you don't do that, then you don't know you're making progress, because this is the thing where you're trying to see that you're making progress. Good morning, how are you? So make progress in your financial life when you get those things. You get your net worth. If you can answer the questions of what's your net worth and what are your sort of expense categories, your burn rate, how much you're spending every month, what are you requiring to live on, those are really two powerful numbers that are part of your financial freedom equation. And that's why, again, it all has a reason, right? Like, so if you're like, I don't know why I use it. It has a reason. So if you want to get to the next step on your journey, you're going to have to a lot of people do that, and then they don't really know what they're spending their money on. That's why I'm such a, I sound like a nerd and and like a broken record. Why Mint, like, when you start looking at where all your money's going, you're going to be like, shit, I cannot believe I'm spending this much money on X. Then you've got to make a decision, right? You're say, okay, what's more important to me? And what's, do I want to, and it's okay. You can be like, okay, sometimes you get to it and you're like, shit, I just got to make more money, right? Which is fine too. You can arrive at that conclusion and say, look, I want this lifestyle, but in order for me to have this lifestyle and some financial security, I'm going to figure out how to make more money. And I am all for that. I am like a big believer on people making more money. Like, sometimes we get complacent because we just have enough. Thank you. I'm a proud nerd, because I'm get excited about things that other people are like, oh, why would you get excited about it? It's not entertaining. And I'm like, taxes are exciting to me because they can teach you something. They can teach you something. By the way, two financial classes for free that I'm taking. Yeah. And that's the other thing, like, you've got to educate yourself. The thing is, once you start paying attention to your money, you're going to take more interest in it, right? See what I said that? Interest. Because you want to make your money interesting. It should be interesting to me. But if you find yourself spending more than you earn, there's only two ways out of that. By limiting visits, right? You just like say, look, I'm going to make a list. And then go to your pantry. Go like, yeah, I'm in the mood for this, but like, can I do something else? Like, I make my money, like being on a diet. Yeah, kind of a financial diet, right? Again, or you got to figure out how to make more money. Right. You just like limit the things, but being aware of where your money's going because where your money's going is where your priorities are. Even when you say, like, this is really important to me, and you don't put any money behind it, then to me, it signals that it's not a priority. And you've got to be true to yourself, right? Like, if you're trying to lose weight and you're eating donuts, you're like, you know what? I just really love those donuts. And you're like, okay, you got to make a trade-off. Like, you can't have both. And it's the same with money. But if you get in a place where you know how much your lifestyle costs, right? What is it that takes? Sandy has great stuff on the side hustle, and that's the thing. It's like, if you're gonna make more money and you don't have an immediate career transition plan, because career transition plans can take some time, and sometimes if people do like venture out and do start a business and they leave their job, then there's actually a dip in your cash flow. So I always think, like, people really need to be mindful, and not that you can't be optimistic, you just have to be realistic. But yes, the side hustle is, how do you make extra, right? right? And I used to do a lot of side hustling. And now I've transitioned that into like trying to figure out how to make passive income because I don't know how to do that. I only know how to sell my services, right? Which is professional consulting, a management consultant. So I'm actually learning a lot about this whole like world of smart passive income. So yeah, and side hustles are so huge, I don't know that I want to sell stuff, but I don't know, like you got to find something that really resonates with you and you can do within your constraints of your life, right? Because you also have to make sure that you're not working just for the sake of work. You're working because you're trying to like have a lifestyle that matters to you, right? Whatever that may mean. Yeah, have a great day. And yeah, start taking little steps to get to take care of your money. And thank you for joining. No, I'm always excited to just plant the little nuggets, right? This is why it's Money Habits, right? Because I'm just planting little nuggets every day. And again, for me to say that it's a habit and not to show up every day would be disingenuous. And that's why I'm here, because every single day, everybody needs a reminder. Well, I used to eat the nuggets too, but not enough nutritional value. So anyway, but little nuggets that, bonjour, comment ça va? But je ne parle pas français. Don't let me fool you. So anyway, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your engagement. And you do have any question, if you do have any, I'm doing great. If you have any questions for me around what I've talked about on the broadcast, or just if you have a financial question that you feel like there's really no one else to talk about, because that's what I find a lot. People don't have anybody in their circle. You can find me in on Snapchat or on Twitter and just direct message me. Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, just ask me, and so I can give you kind of that like a little bit of a push to just go and do what you need to, what your next step is, or just answer some questions, because I think sometimes people are unclear. So thank you guys, and I will see you. I'll be back here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And yeah, I think I'm going to write it down right now. I'm going to talk about risk, the number 5 lever, and how to assess your risk preparedness. So we're going to do a risk spreadsheet. And are you, how are you protected against downside? So tomorrow, that's going to be the task that we're going to talk about, Task It Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to show you how I do my own risk assessment. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.